Hello, this is Cerece Rennie Murphy, and I'm excited to celebrate Black Speculative Fiction Month with you with another video highlighting some wonderful authors of color in the areas of paranormal mystery. Um, Last video, I talked about two authors of color, D.K. Gaston's Taurus Moon Relic Hunter, which is more of a fantasy book, and I talked about The Darkness by Crystal Connor's novel, which is more horror. But I have two authors, Lynn Emery, who writes the LaShawn Roussel murder mystery series, uh, here, and we're going to talk about that, as well as a wonderful novel by Daniel Jose Older called Salsa Nocturna. So if you are into paranormal mystery that has a wonderful sense of place and atmosphere, these are definitely books that you're going to want to check out. So first, I'm going to talk about Lynn Emery's A Darker Shade of Midnight, which is the first book in the LaShawn Roussel mysteries series. And it is absolutely wonderful. I should say that I'm holding up these postcards because A, I'm bringing them to New York Comic Con tomorrow, Thursday through Sunday, and I will be featuring these little things that have a cute QR code on the back. And you can find out more about Lynn Emery and all of her work. She's a veteran writer with 10, 15 titles to her name published, and just an incredibly talented author. But anyway, this is the first book in the LaShawn Roussel series, and the reason I'm holding up this card is because I listened to the audiobook. This book is available in ebook, paperback, as well as audiobook. And let me tell you, the audiobook is an absolute treat, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. What is wonderful about this series? First of all, the story follows the main character, LaShawn Roussel, as she returns home to Louisiana to take care of her ailing grandmother and gets pulled into a wonderful murder mystery with elements of the paranormal, spirituality, the occult, all kinds of fantastic stuff that is just handled with such just amazing depth by Lynn Emery. Uh, I like to say that her writing is everything that you love about Anne Rice, minus about 300 pages of backstory that you don't need and won't miss. But really, her writing is more than that. People talk about world building and they think about Tolkien and they think about, epic fantasy. But really, I think world building is about helping you feel like you can walk through a place that you've never been, and you know that place, and you know that language, and you know that culture. Lynn Emery does that in this series so beautifully. Her writing is lush and full and rich of wonderfully complex characters, depth and atmosphere. One of the things that I loved about this book, A Darker Shade of Midnight by Lynn Emery, is that, again, I have a fascination with the South. And reading her work makes me feel like I'm a part of that world, of that unique language, the colloquialisms and the just unique turns of phrases that they would use. And it just in Louisiana. And I just love that so much. It helped me to feel like when the mystery dark force that LaShawn Roussel is fighting comes to play in the story, I felt like I was there. I felt like I could feel the heat of the bayou. I could feel the grass as it's like slapping her legs as she's running away. I mean, it was just so well written and described so that not only did I just enjoy the story, but I felt the experience of it. And I think that's just one of a kind writing and a one of a kind story. So, the first book in the series, A Darker Shade of Midnight, is available now. The second book in the series is also, oh, wait, this is the third book. Oh, Between Dusk and Dawn. I again listened to this on audiobook, and just let me tell you, as someone who loves a story, I've loved stories since my sister used to tell me stories before I could go to bed. The experience of the audiobook is just, I think it brings a fantastic story just even into just a different realm of experiencing it. And it was wonderful. The narrator is absolutely wonderful. I think her name is Quiana Goodrum. Um, she does the French Creole with the real accent. She does just all kinds of things in terms of bringing the characters to life. So I really, really enjoyed it. Again, this is the second book in the series, Between Dusk and Dawn. And for those who don't like to wait, the third book in the series, Only by Moonlight, is coming out very, very soon. I know I can't wait. It's going to be available again, ebook and paperback, and Lynn Emery is also thinking about an audiobook. I don't think I'll be able to wait for that because this is just such a great series. The second book picks up where the first one leaves off and just expands both the storyline and the depth of characters. So it is just really a treat and something that I think if you're a fan of paranormal mystery with a sense of place and an atmosphere that is a part of the story, you're going to love her work. So, again, that is Lynn Emery's LaShawn Roussel series. Let me see if I can get it right. Darker Shade of Midnight, which is the first book in the series, Between Dusk and Dawn, second book in the series, and Only by Moonlight, which comes out very, very soon. So treat yourself and get to know Lynn Emery's amazing work. Next, we have Salsa Nocturna by Daniel Jose Older. This book will wow you. What I can say is it's a collection of short stories that are all related. And he just does, he lets you see New York in a whole new way. He lets you see, when I finished reading this book, I thought he actually kind of peeled back the world that we think that we know and showed us the magical, the fantastical, the horrific that actually is lying underneath in this wonderful world that he creates in Salsa Nocturna, which follows the journey of a half-dead paranormal investigator as he goes around New York fighting demons and ghosts and collaborating with other humans who see dead people and half mortals and long gone dead ghosts and everybody in between. And that, that in itself is extraordinary and interesting, but what's really special about Salsa Nocturna is that he places it in a world that is very, very real. And so it makes you really look at your everyday experiences a little differently. That shadow that you see as you're walking home suddenly could very possibly be something else. And he does that in a way that, as I said, he combines the magical and realism in a way that is just transcendent. And I don't think that's too strong a word. I think, we're so used to reading stories that are set in New York and, Manhattan, and it's about Wall Street and about, the powerful and the wealthy. This is not that story. This is a story that highlights the extraordinary both in the fantastical world, but also in the everyday world. And you get to know characters who, are going to their local coffee shop in the Bronx and, traveling the train and living a life that will feel familiar to you, except there's this whole spiritual, you know, fantasy, paranormal element to it that you may not be aware of. But I'm starting to think maybe he knows a little bit more about than we would think. So again, if you're looking for a book that takes what you know about the paranormal and brings it into a realm that is both utterly familiar and utterly new, try Salsa Nocturna by Daniel Jose Older. You will not regret it. Thank you so much for listening to me and learning about these two fantastic authors that I hope you will take the time and get to know. On my next video, I'm going to be talking about the Steam Funk Anthology that was edited by Milton Davis and Balagoon Oyetade. So if you don't know what Steam Funk is, you should visit www.blackspeculativefictionmonth.com and find out a whole world of wonderful stories created by authors of color. Thanks so much, and can't wait to share some more with you soon.